Welcome to Raaonline. Today we will discuss about internal iliac artery. So competency for today's topic will be describe and demonstrate the origin, course, important relations and branches of internal iliac artery. So internal iliac artery is the artery of pelvis and perineum. So this is known as internal iliac artery because it lies internal to pelvis. So the common iliac artery divides into internal and external iliac artery. These are named as internal and external because of the relation to the pelvis, like the carotid arteries. So we have common carotid artery which divides into internal and external carotid arteries. So if the artery goes to inside the skull, that is internal. So similarly, here the iliac artery is also named as internal and external with the relation with pelvis, articulated pelvis. And other important thing about the internal iliac artery, being an artery of pelvis and perineum, so we have two sex, male and female. So we are going to have the different organs in the pelvis. Like if we take a female gender, so she is going to have the uterus, ovary and vagina. So we have the branches of internal iliac artery with different in two sexes. So because of this is mainly because of the difference in pelvic organ and structures in the perineum. So this is the very important thing we should understand. So the branches will vary and relations also will vary in males and females. So first we will see about the origin and course of the internal iliac artery. So each right and left internal iliac artery, these are terminal branches of corresponding common iliac artery. So the right common iliac artery will terminate into right external iliac and right internal iliac artery. So we have two internal iliac artery on either side. So this termination of common iliac artery, here you can see in the picture, this is abdominal aorta which divides into two common iliac arteries. So we can see here two right and left common iliac artery, and each common iliac artery in front of sacroiliac joint. This is ilium and this is sacrum. So in front of sacroiliac joint, it divides into external iliac artery and internal iliac artery. So you can see the internal iliac artery going inside the pelvis, and external iliac artery is coming out of the pelvis, and this will continuous with the femoral artery of lower limb. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about this internal iliac artery which is entering inside the pelvis, going to supply the pelvic organ as well as the perineal structures. Okay, so the termination of a common iliac artery happens in front of sacroiliac joint. So after the termination, the internal iliac artery, it runs downwards to reach the greater sciatic notch. So in the pelvis, if you recollect, we will have greater sciatic notch and lesser sciatic notch. So at the margin of greater sciatic notch, it will be reaching, the internal iliac artery will be reaching, and where it divides into two divisions. So it will divide into anterior division and posterior division. So this is about the origin. So if we trace, so here you can see the common iliac dividing into external iliac, internal iliac, and you can see nicely the internal iliac artery dividing into anterior division and posterior division. So the anterior division, if you see, it extends as a continuation of main trunk up to the ischial spine. See here, you can see a projection, triangular projection, that is ischial spine. So the anterior division reaches to the ischial spine. The posterior division, it runs downwards and backwards in the region of greater sciatic notch. Okay, this is about the course of anterior and posterior division of internal iliac artery. Now coming to the relations of internal iliac artery. I told internal iliac artery going to supply the organs of pelvis. So we have male pelvis and female pelvis. So this relation will vary with the sex. So here you are seeing a section of female pelvis because you can see here the ovary and fallopian tube. So this is the female pelvis. Here you can see the common iliac artery which divides into external iliac and internal iliac. Okay, see here, this is internal iliac artery. So we are going to see the relations. So anteriorly you can see a white color structure which is running down. So this is the ureter. So anteriorly lies the pelvic part of ureter, and in female we have the ovary and fimbriated end of uterine tube. So this internal iliac artery, if you see, it forms posterior boundary for ovarian fossa. So you know the ovarian fossa is situated in, the ovaries are situated in ovarian fossa, and that ovarian fossa, the posterior boundary is formed by this internal iliac artery and ureter. Okay. So anterior relation of internal iliac artery is pelvic part of ureter, and in females it is ovary with the fimbriated end of uterine tube. And posterior relation, you just see the relations I will show in the next picture. You can, the posteriorly it is related to internal iliac vein, lumbosacral trunk and sacroiliac joint.